Welcome back to the Salad and Carbs podcast, the only place where you can get 2 of your 5 a day. Welcome back, Carbs. How have you been?
Yeah, thank you for the welcome back there, Salad. I've been good. I've actually been for a bit of a walk today. Went to get something to eat, and then got a coffee, feeding the corporate machines, and then I decided I just missed the bus when I got a coffee to stay in and then a coffee to go, and the coffee took about 15 minutes from ordering it to getting it, and then I missed my bus. So I was like, screw it, I'm walking back. Next one, it's a service where it's not as common today. So I thought I'm just going to walk back. So I had a bit of a walk back today, and popped into my parents' house along the way to pick up some things. And other than that, other than missing the bus, which ended up being a good thing in the end, it's been a good day, to be honest with you. How are you? How was your leg? I know you've had some trouble with your leg.
We'll come back to my leg. Where have you walked to and from today? Because obviously I know a few of these locations in my house. Yeah. And it's not like we need to do any GDPR breaches and give addresses away or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, where is the coffee shop that you went to?
Well, coffee shop was in Rising Bridge, and so was the place I ate as well.
I had a feeling it was going to be in Rising Bridge when you said your parents' house, because I thought, wow, to walk past your parents' house on the way past, it's like, bloody hell, we're going round the houses here.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah. Right, okay, that all makes sense now. Okay, I'm satisfied now.
Do you need me to be specific about what where I went?
No, I don't need to know what colour shoelaces you had on and all that jazz.
There's not an awful lot of options at that time of day in Rising Bridge, let's be honest. I think most people who know the area can work out where I went to eat and then where I went to get my coffee.
Yeah.
It's not hard. So, yeah.
No. No, okay, no. I'm happy with that. How's my leg? Well, in particular, it's my ankle. And I think we touched on this in the last episode, but I actually had a bit of an accident playing football on Sunday, and it's like my first proper football injury, really, especially like leg and foot related. It's still swollen and it's still bruised and black and
still in the crutch as well.
Yeah, when the painkillers wear off, I think I need it more than anything. But there's a bit of movement coming back to it. Like I say, it's just that swelling that's not really going down. I've still got the frame thing on that they gave me. It's been very useful, that, to be honest. I must admit, it's probably a bit better than a cast because you can take it off. Like you got a bit of freedom with it, and obviously you don't really want to wear it in bed either. Yeah, I'm getting better, I think. Thank you. I still haven't had a shoe on for the best part of a week, which is odd. Because I do actually wear special shoes these days. I have to wear Echo shoes because they have like an arch support. Because it's either I've got collapsed arches or I've got flat feet. I don't know what it is, but if I don't wear Echo shoes with that particular thing in, my back ends up like really sore. It's crazy. The joys of getting old, I guess. When I play football, I have these gel inserts that I have to put in my football boots. Otherwise, honestly, I'd be ruined. So yeah, all part of getting old, all very exciting. I'm hoping that the ankle will recover, but I'm thinking it'll probably be at least 4 weeks, and then I'll probably have to do some physio and just try and get a bit of movement back in it. And it's my left foot as well. That's me foot.
That's the one foot.
It's the one I shoot and pass with and everything. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's getting better. Thank you.
I've seen how dark it got with the bruising myself. You showed me over the camera last time we did a recording, and I didn't expect it to be that bad. I'd heard about it, but until I'd seen it myself, I didn't really know what you were dealing with. It looks a bit of a mess, but it's a perfect mess as well, because the line of the bruising stops where like your sole starts, and it's like a perfect line.
Honestly, it's great. It's literally like someone's put a ruler on my foot. Yeah. And got like a permanent marker and just drawn around it. Honestly, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bruise didn't show up for a while, and then obviously when it manifested, I've got like bruises on my toes, and it's like I didn't think that my toes were involved in the accident. No,
ligaments weren't it, which is like on your ankle.
Yeah, it's getting better slowly. But thank you for asking. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Salad and Carbs podcast. Would you believe this first part of the show, been having a think about this, and I think this first part of the show is one, it's an opportunity for me and Carbs to catch up, and it's also an opportunity for us to address any feedback that you've given us or any questions that you may have posted on Spotify, because a few comments are coming in now. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these comments are coming in via WhatsApp and stuff like that. Getting text messages, word of mouth, people are listening, people are letting us know directly what they think of things. I've had a few work colleagues drop me messages on Teams and stuff like that, and it's great. I think that, this is your space. If you want to let us know something, let us know. And probably the best place for that is the comments on either YouTube or Spotify, and then we can pick those up. I mean, I love getting the feedback directly as well, and I'll always try and make a conscious effort of capturing those and making sure that we address it. But this first section before the first break, I think, should be time to celebrate the audience.
Yeah, can I just add as well that it's good for people to comment on the YouTube videos and in the Spotify comment section as well, because with these sort of things you can develop a bit of a community. So if you guys want to discuss some things between yourself in the comments, that is not completely out of the realms. I mean, it can help. What you say can help form part of the discussion that me and Salad have. So don't be afraid to comment and stuff. It won't, you won't be, criticised for anything like that. Every opinion matters, every comment matters, and if you've got something to say, just say it. Don't need to put something just for the sake of it, don't just feel forced to do it. But yeah, feel free.
Hey, listen, you know what I mean? Everyone's got views and opinions and things, and you know what I mean? Sometimes people might, I don't know. Listen, if you want to have a battleground in the forum, have a battleground. If you want to have a peaceful protest, if you want to have a peaceful march, if you want to have a nice conversation, do whatever you want. It's your space. What you won't find is me probably replying to all the comments online. What you will find is I'll probably try and collate them and address them here. I think it's a little bit more personable for us to actually talk about them, because you've taken the time to actually put those questions down or make those comments, and we appreciate that. We've had over 100 listens now, and in the last episode, I said that I were going to retire. Well, I'm going to have to move the goalpost now, aren't I? Because we've smashed through that 100 barrier thing, actually. Let's have a look. On YouTube, we're on 45 views, and on Spotify, we're on 71. So that's a whopping grand total of 116, which is, you know what I mean? We're 16 over my retirement threshold, which is ridiculous. So keep them views coming in. We're getting lots of subscribers. We're getting more ratings now. We really, really appreciate it. And like I say, the feedback's still been great. We are looking at producing some shorter content. So we are having discussions behind the scenes on how we can make shorter content, something a little bit snappier. And we're working on something that we can be sharing on some socials, because, you know what I mean, it is an investment to listen to an hour's worth of a podcast when sometimes you might just want to listen to that one-liner. So don't you worry. We are working on something where we can bring you that snappier content. And I think ultimately that will probably lead us into a world where we might have video podcasts. You know what I mean? You've been hearing about the messy finger. See it. Absolutely. So, we need to bring those things to life. There are a couple of things that I want to address as well. So Carbs has come to me in the background, and seeing as we have the quick burn carbs section, he's been thinking about what can we do for salad. What can we have for a salad feature? So this is Carbs' proposal, and you can let us know what you think about this, right? But we sort of had the same idea when he asked me about it. But it's the salad dressing. So a topic, a person, I have no idea. Whatever it is going to get the salad dressing. Now, instead of it being a 20 seconds quick burn Carbs, my personal view is the salad dressing should be a one-liner. So Carbs hits me up with a topic, whatever it is, and I have to just say it in one line. Just give me view. Forgive me for any future people that I may offend with a bit of me salad dressing. But let us know what you think about that idea. That'd be great. I've got a couple more things on my list. We have our first ever non-binary listener. Now, there's a story behind this. I'm going to shout you out here, Ash. Ash is, I'm just going to come out with this. Ash is my line manager. And he was, he was listening to, I think it was episode 2, where we were talking about the breakdown of the audience. And he sent me a message saying, I want to be your first non-binary listener. And then all of a sudden, I was sent a screenshot, and he's now classified himself as non-binary. So congratulations, Ash, because you are our first non-binary listener. So well played. We also have a question as well. We have another question that's been posted this week. And this question is from an individual known as Dioxide. And this question is as follows. I enjoyed listening to the latest episode. One Blockbuster store is still in operation. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, Carbs, because funnily enough, this Dioxide entity sent me a message asking me this very question. I didn't get the answer right, so I'm wondering if you know where this is.
I do know where it is because I've spoken to this person since the last time we did a recording, and
Really?
Yeah, and he told me. So I mean, I don't mean to take the wind at yourselves, but I do actually know it. I wouldn't have known it.
Please tell me. I need to know where it is, even though the answer's in front of me. Please.
Well,
where is it?
I believe it's in the state of Oregon.
It is indeed in the state of Oregon.
I don't know.
Thank goodness for that.
I don't know if I was told what city, town specifically it was in Oregon, but I definitely remember it was on Oregon.
No,
the state
of Oregon. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're not getting into nitty gritty. Oregon will do. But the rest of the question is as follows: bucket list tackle. Bucket list tackle. I mean, if I'm in Oregon, you know what I mean? I think there might be a few other things I'm trying to see before I get to Blockbuster. But for some people, you know what I mean? One man's trash is another man's treasure. One woman's trash is another woman's treasure. One non-binary treasure is another non-binary trash. I am getting so confused right now. But also, did any of you keep your Blockbuster membership card? Has anyone got one? Has anyone got one? Because apparently, allegedly, people are shotting them. Interesting vocabulary here. People are shotting them on eBay, if not. So if you're after one, I think you can pay a fair few quid if you want to acquire yourself a Blockbuster card. Or if you've still got one, there's people out there who want one. You might be able to make yourself a few quid or a few dollars, considering it's in Oregon. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to the next episode and some short clips of Salad and Carbs. Have a nice Easter, lads. Have a nice Easter yourself, Dioxide, and thank you very much for your question. I hope we've satisfied you with a good enough answer there. And absolutely keep them coming, because this is your space as an audience going forward. And really, I think that's bringing us up, unless Carbs has got anything else to add here.
No, that's... I think you covered it. I think the only thing that I will say is that I don't think I have a Blockbuster card, but what could possibly still exist at my parents' house was this card called the Nickelottery, and it was like Nickelodeon did a collaboration with Blockbusters for the for the Nickelottery, and you got your own. You got a form from Blockbusters. You filled it in, and then they give you a card with your own lottery numbers on it. And it was a static card. Your numbers didn't change. You had them for every time, and it was only for like a small period of time as well while watching Nickelodeon. But I'm hoping I could find that again, because maybe that could be worth something. But I'm also going to be cynical and say it was probably thrown away. When it ceased to be of any use, I'd imagine it got thrown away. But I can live in hope.
Okay, Nickelottery, yeah, Nickelottery. Wow, no, never.
My memory works in strange ways, to be honest. So yeah,
I can't think of. My wallet's just full of stuff like bloody. Holland and Barrett card, EX card, Ape Shop loyalty card. You know what I mean?
Season ticket card, Burnley membership card.
My body's a temple and all that from episode 2. Shout out to someone who has been saying that to me all week. But yeah, I think this is a good time to maybe do a quick burn, Carbs, that's going to lead us nicely into the next section. Because would you believe it? This episode is going to be about movies. Thank goodness for Blockbuster and being a nice link to that. So I'm going to give you 20 seconds to tell us all about movies.
Starting now?
Well, yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, movies, they can be long, they can be short. They usually have actors in them, usually
10.
directed by someone. It can be animated, live action.
5.
You can go to the cinemas to see
3.
them. You can watch them on DVD. They're fun. Boom.
Oh, nice. That was a good effort, that. I can't even remember what you said, to be honest. I was just laughing my head off. So this is going to be a good time to go for a break. You are listening to the Salad and Carbs podcast. Thank you for being with us. We will be back after this break. Welcome back to the Salad and Carbs podcast, the only place where you can get 2 of your 5 a day. Before the break, we were having a bit of a catch-up. It was our section where we deal with any questions, any feedback we've had. We've had our first non-binary listener. We've had a question from Dioxide. We've spoken about potential new short social content. A new feature called the salad dressing. Over 100 listens. Honestly, big thank you to all of you for making that happen. Lots of subscribers. Honestly, can't believe how well it's going down, and long may it continue. But just before the break, we did a quick burn carbs. And we only burnt a few carbs because carbs was sat there not burning any carbs for the first 5 seconds. And we were looking at movies because this episode is going to be all about movies. So I'm going to hand it over to Carbs because I think he's going to ask me some questions.
Yeah. I just want to start off with, is there any particular genre that you prefer over the rest? I'll ask you, do you like thrillers, for example? And if not, what would you prefer to watch over thrillers?
Right, I'm gonna hold my hand up here and say films are my weakest area out of all of the forms of entertainment. Being a musician, I think music is the one thing I gravitate to mainly. Don't get me wrong, I do like a good film. Genre-wise, what do you mean by what do you mean by thriller?
Situations where you don't watch films that much, you haven't really categorized what you like and don't like. It's kind of like you see a film, did I like it? Do I not? You don't think about the genre. Is that what it is more like for you?
I mean, yeah, to an extent, but I also probably gravitate towards a certain genre. I like. What do you mean by a thriller? Is that like the type of thing where we get a twist at the end and
usually?
Your head's fucked.
Yeah, a good example of a thriller would be Shutter Island, if you've ever seen that.
Yeah, Shutter Island was a banger.
That's a perfect example of a thriller.
Right, okay. Yeah, I do like a thriller then. Yeah. There was is it called Get Out? Get Out.
Get Out is a thriller, yeah.
Yeah, that...
Jordan Peele.
That were another banger, that. Honestly. Yeah. Oof, what a film. I mean, when I was growing up, I used to enjoy Scream. Scream, for me, was Scream is the perfect blend of horror, comedy, and thriller. And I think once you get into the realms of Scream 2, 3, 4, and we're off now, aren't we? We're into the 7s and 8s, and you can even play the Scream game at home and have Ghostface, as he's known. I would have just called him Scream myself. Who rings you on your phone, which is quite exciting, isn't it? But I used to like Scream. I thought it were good. Not too gory, you know what I mean? It's no Human Centipede, because that's just taking the piss, you know what I mean? I mean, there's some films out there, it's like, you know what I mean? I've got to go to bed after this. Are you mad? I need to eat food. Don't need to be seeing people's mouths being taped to the bottoms and things. You know what I mean? And it's expression, it's art, it's debatable. You know what I mean? It's the... One person's trash is another treasure. Some people are, they're going for Premier and that. Not for me. You know what I mean? When I were at uni, one of my mates or former bandmates was proper into horror films, and some of the stuff I was subjected to. Actually,
give us some examples of that. I'm pretty intrigued now by what you've seen. Have you seen the film Teeth by chance?
Teeth, no, but I remember.
Yeah, I'm not spoiling it for anyone. I mean, I don't want to go into spoiler territory again.
I know what you're on about with Teeth. There's one called Rubber, which were quite funny, really, because it were about a killer tire, and it was one of these I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it was like a B movie or so. And I'm sorry if no one's ever watched Rubber. I am I might potentially ruin it for you, but the thing is, the film is so shit. It's one of those films that's like, it's done full circle. It's so shit, it could be good. And it's basically a tyre that kills people. And it's like, how, yeah, honestly, it's like, how the fuck do you even achieve that? And this like tyre just rolls into shot, and then it like pivots and looks at you, and then it does this little wiggle, and then that's it just boom.
Does it have like some like really menacing face on it as well as it looks
No,
at the...
mate, it's just a Goodyear. It's just a Pirelli. It's something that you'd find at Remold Centre. It's literally just a tyre. There's not even an alloy in it. No, it's just an empty rubber tyre, and then it just kills its victims. And then it's just there wheeling down the road after it's done it. Honestly, but if we're talking about films that are so shit that they're good, I want to mention a film called The Room. Have you heard of The Room?
I have heard of The Room. I've never had the pleasure of watching it though, but I've heard so much about it. It's like it was never meant as like a comedy piece. It was always meant to be serious. But is it something like the main character in it was played by the director, and it was the director's choice to put him in it because he thought that it was a good idea? And then like I've also heard as well that like for the setting of it, like they had the option to use like a studio with streets in it for props, you know, like a fake street, and they said no, we'll shoot it outside because it's more realism. But then that costs them more money to do that, even though no one would ever know. There was some very, very questionable production choices, I've been told, for that film, but it also adds to how crap it is, which makes it even funnier. I've been told.
Interesting, because to be fair, there's a lot of bad set design in that film. Like, fuck me, they never seen outside. You know what I mean? Like, they're on top of an apartment block, and it's like, mate, you've never seen the top of an apartment block. Like, that sky will be the same sky in 45 years' time. Like, it's been painted and it's been set. That film, like, there is so many one-liners from that film. Like, it came out in 2000 and something. Like, if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry, but you need to get The Room. It was directed by a guy called Tommy. So it's Wiseau, Tommy Wiseau, Tommy Wiseau.
I think when I saw it, I thought it like was pronounced Wiseau. Maybe.
Wiseau.
I've never actually heard it said, but when like I read it initially, I was like Wiseau. But I mean, who knows?
Honestly, it is ridiculous. The plot has more holes in it than a piece of Leodhammer. It is dreadful. But so dreadful, a little bit like rubber, that it becomes good. But I think we've digressed massively here, because you asked me what my favourite genre was, and now I'm talking about The Room and rubber and human centipedes. So favourite genre, I'd say I do like a thriller. But then again, what's wrong with a Pixar movie? You know what I mean? Depends what mood you're in. Sometimes you want a bit of action.
Do you like The Rock? Have you seen any films with The Rock in it? He's been in a lot of action films lately. Like he's like the man for the action films.
Mate, no. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, should be on a square surrounded by 3 ropes and 4 turnbuckles, and he should be pulling off that elbow pad. That's where he belongs. What does he fucking think he's playing at? Acting? Like, you know what I mean? Get in that ring and do some rock bottoms. Like, Mr. Action. Honestly. Now, action film with a rocking on. Oh, no, they are not the films for me. You know what I mean? There's just too many explosions.
San Andreas were pretty good, you know. The San Andreas, I thought were pretty decent.
See, and this is where I've never seen them. I've never, you know what I mean? I think I've seen like one Avengers film, because I think films are one of those. They're probably a form of media that I underappreciate, maybe. But then I do like certain films. I don't know. Maybe I'm always looking for the quirky or the weird. You know, I enjoyed Birdman, because Birdman was filmed in one continuous shot. So that film, there was apparently no cut. So if you think about the effort that goes into that, everyone has to learn the lines. Not just the actors, like the director, the camera crew, location, everything needs coordinating so that the full feature film, however long it is, like 80 minutes, 90 minutes, I don't know how long Birdman is, all has to be done within the one take, which is incredible, really. And it's not the first time it's been done. I think even Rope by Hitchcock in 1948. I think that was meant to be a one-shot film. Rope's one of my favourite films. You know, I remember watching that at uni on my MacBook, and I was like, wow. You know, genius from the point of view that, like, so much drama and tension can be created from not very much going on, seemingly. You know what I mean? Like, we're set in one room, we've got a couple of characters, but yet I'm sat there like, I need to know what's going on.
Drooling.
Yeah. You know, like biting my nails off tension. Very, very good. I don't know what. Go on.
Yeah, I know you're into your sports. Is there any sport films that you've watched or enjoyed, or maybe ones that you've seen that you thought, you know what, could have done without that? Is there anything like that? You know, you ever seen The Football Factory or Green Street?
Oh, Green
I know it's not
Street.
specifically sport, but it's for football fans, isn't it?
Green Street was funny because it had, like, the main guy had the worst London accent I've ever heard in my life. And I mean, I'm no professional at accents, but fuck me, that were dreadful. All right, mate, I'm fucking West Ham. And it's like, mine's actually better. His was terrible. Yeah, I thought it was good. You know, it was all right. It did a job. You know, it was gripping in places and a bit bloody and a bit this and you know, I mean, if you don't know much about football hooligan culture, I guess, you know, it's a window into that, and obviously it's a bit dramatized and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it was all right, but then I never watched Green Street 2 or Out Like That, or I've never seen Football Factory or The Firm or any of the other ones. I mean,
Mean Machine with Vinnie Jones.
No, I've never seen it.
That's actually a decent film. It's a decent
I've heard loads about
Yeah.
it. But I've never actually watched it. Again, you could probably ask me a lot of films and I haven't seen them. Like, just out of curiosity, I went and looked at the IMDb top 250 just to see which ones I have watched. Now, obviously, number one on that list is Shawshank Redemption, and I have seen that, and I think it's a great film. Very, very, very good film. Godfather, not seen it. Dark Knight, seen it. It was all right, weren't it? Godfather Part 2, nope. Angry Men, nope. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, I think I've seen it. Schindler's List, never seen it. Pulp Fiction, never seen it. The Fellowship of the Ring, never seen it. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, never seen it. Forrest Gump, could write a song here, couldn't we? Just need a beat in background. Forrest Gump, never seen it. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, never seen it. Fight Club, yes, I've seen it. Inception, yeah, I've seen it. Star Wars, Episode 5, never seen it. The Matrix.
It's like
yes,
a
I've seen
Blackout
it.
Crew song or something like that. It's reminding me of Put a Dunk on It.
Oh, honestly. But what I am noticing by looking at this list is that there's quite a few Christopher Nolan films. Now, Christopher Nolan is my favourite director, and I have seen quite a lot of Nolan films. So I have got his list here. Now, I am wanting to get a copy of his first film, and his first film was from 1998, and that was called Following. And I've tried not to read too much about it, even though I pretty much know what's going to happen. But I haven't seen it, and I'd love to watch it because we studied Nolan at college, and I loved it. You know, because the film after Following was Memento, and Memento was one of the films that we studied because of its non-linear narrative. A very, very good way of doing a film, and I think it's one of those films, a bit of a cult film, really. Like, some people have seen it and some people haven't, but for those who have, they definitely get the references because of how it is. Then we've got Insomnia, and that was the other one we studied because that was genius, because it was set in a place in the world where the sun doesn't go down, but yeah, it was made dark and creepy, and that, you know, that in itself is just genius. And then probably because of the success of those films and his interesting way of directing, he got given the Batman trilogy. So then obviously you got Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises. In between those films, he had The Prestige, which is one of my all-time favourites. I love The Prestige. Inception. I mean, Raw 8, weren't it? You know what I mean?
I loved Inception. I loved it. I went to cinemas to watch that. It was an experience just to be in the cinemas to watch that.
And that is something in itself that we'll probably touch on a little bit later. Interstellar. A lot of people go on about Interstellar. Again, another
same for me. I loved it in the cinemas. I loved it. It was quality. Same thing.
Good film. Never watched it in the cinema. Dunkirk. See, I haven't watched Dunkirk yet. Tenet. No, I did watch Tenet recently, and I thought it was well good. there was a particular moment when the penny drops, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is going on? I was like, shit, son. Honestly, that was brilliant. And I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet either. So that's on my to-do list. But yeah, I think as far as maybe not so much a favourite genre or a favourite film, but I definitely have a favourite director. And I think that like Nolan certainly has like a cast that he tends to rely on. Like DiCaprio turns up a lot, Cillian Murphy turns up a lot. Is it Joseph Gordon-Levitt? He's turned up in a few. Was he in Inception? I'm sure he was.
I'm struggling to remember that one actually. I feel like he might have been.
He was. I'm
give
just
it a Google,
checking now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Hardy,
I'm wondering,
Marion Cotillard.
is Nolan described as an auteur? Because auteurs is like a type of director where they kind of like use the same styles for all the films. But another trait of that is they tend to cast similar people. Well, they tend to cast like the same people over and over again for multiple films.
I have no idea. I'm just trying to read on this now. Just saying that cinematic style, he likes his metaphysical themes, like the concepts of time, personal identity, mathematically inspired ideas and images. That's probably why I like it so much.
Yeah, concepts.
Unconventional narrative structures, materialistic perspectives. Guillermo del Toro apparently called him an emotional mathematician, which I kind of like that. You know what I mean? Because maths can be very lacking emotion. So to be an emotional mathematician is using numbers to manipulate you in such a way to make you feel things. But again, I would argue that that's what musicians do, because when you study music and you understand what music is distance, music is intervals across time, because it's all pitch and like different frequencies, but how long we hold those frequencies or when we release them, and obviously the push and the pull. So really, what you're dealing with there are numbers, in an emotive way. So I definitely love the medium of film. But for me, I think, yeah, I do like a more, I don't know, artsy film, maybe an art house production sometimes. But I mean, it seems to be the case that everyone else likes Nolan films as well, seeing as he's pretty much dominating the top 20 of the IMDb top 250. So yeah, I think that's me on films. Have you got anything to add? Have you got any other questions that you'd like to ask?
I want to know your opinion on, you talked about Christopher Nolan as a director. I want to know your opinion about Quentin Tarantino. Have you delved into any of his work? I feel like you might enjoy it.
I have watched a bit of Tarantino, yeah. I don't think I'm an expert per se, but one of my friends at uni did a dissertation on the music used in Tarantino movies. So we were sat there watching a lot of Tarantino movies when the dissertations were getting done. Yeah, I've watched stuff, and I think sometimes they can be a bit gory at times. But I do like his use of music. I think the way he uses music is clever, and I think sometimes there's like nice juxtapositions between a track and what we imagine we might want to, where we would hear that track versus where it's being used. And that in itself, again, that push and that pull, that drama, that tension, because our preconceived notion of, this song was written for this or for this purpose because of the instruments used or how it's been used in the past, versus, oh my word, it's being used here now, and this doesn't seem right. And it reminds me of some of those experiments, and I can't remember the name of the scientist or the experiment, but basically there was a scientist in the past, and what they did was, it was basically an experiment in juxtaposition. So they would have an image on a screen. They might have had an image of a baby, a baby's face, and that baby's face was expressionless. But then when that baby's face was positioned on a screen next to, say, an apple, members of the audience automatically presumed that the baby was then hungry. Or if the image alongside the baby was something else, it led them to think that the baby was then feeling something else based on the image alongside. And I think that this idea is definitely played on by Tarantino, where we have one form of media juxtaposed alongside another form of media to create those feelings of dissonance, I'd say, inside someone. Because when we have dissonance, we're uncomfortable because the frequencies aren't completely matching. But then when they are resolved, we feel good. It's almost euphoric dopamine. It's that hit. It's that that is incredible. And that is how we feel. So yeah, Tarantino. I've not done too much of Tarantino, but I have done bits. And from what I have seen, they were good. I mean, sometimes they can be a bit lengthy, but you can say that about Nolan films as well. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to watch a Nolan film, you're going to fucking need your earbud and your 10.
Did you see the Tarantino film Death Proof?
I have not seen Death Proof, no.
No, I was wondering. Tarantino does describe it as his worst film he's made. I still think it's a great film. He probably still thinks it's a great film. He just thinks it's the worst one he made. But I like you're reminding me of that a lot with the use of music, like the changing context, and it's meant to replicate like a grindhouse film showing, and it makes like mistakes and harsh cuts on purpose, and it's a very interesting way of making a film. I've got it on DVD. I've watched it loads of times. I think it's brilliant.
Okay, you might have to lend it me, and yeah, I'll
watch
borrow
it,
that.
review it, and come back to it, can't we?
Let's do it. Let's do it over a crazy panchos, eh? Look at this, all these reviews we're going to be doing. Bloody hell, could have been busy, me.
Yeah.
Right,
at least it's not a Munsters advert again, though.
Go away. We're not doing Munsters adverts again. Fucking hell,
Anyway.
blah, 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 blah. Whatever that thing we're saying, that fucking cigarette man. That's what he fucking looked like a fucking walking cigarette. Right, okay, it's time to go for a break. This is the Salad and Carbs podcast. We will be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Salad and Carbs podcast, the only place where you can get 2 of your 5 a day. Before the break, we were having a deep dive into my favourite films, even though I don't really watch many films. And then we had a little bit of a rap song about the films that I've seen and the films that I haven't seen. And then we discovered that really I just like Christopher Nolan films, basically. And then we had a little bit of an exploration into that. And then we talked a little bit about Tarantino. And then we ended up talking about that fucking Munsters advert and Cigarette Man all over again. Like, what a load of bollocks. But we're back. Thank you for being with us. Carbs is laughing his head off for a change. But it's time for a bit of a deep dive into what Carbs likes from a movie point of view. So let's kick this off with, do you have a favourite genre?
I do have a group of genres that I gravitate towards more than others, but I feel like when it comes to genres, there's a bit of everything I like, because a lot of films do crossovers with genres as well. You touched on it a little bit in your segment, so I think what I gravitate to the most is thrillers, but there's definitely a crossover with thrillers and horrors, and that's something that you touched on as well. Like, you mentioned a film, was it Scream? Now, when I think of Scream, I think primarily that is a slasher horror, but as a sub-genre, it is a thriller, and there are comedy aspects to it as well. It's got levity. You know, it's not all serious, all people are dying, and that, you know, it's dramatized. But yeah, thrillers is what I go for. And it can be thriller of any sort as well. You can be like the more grounded thrillers, the gritty ones where there's a huge twist at the end, and you know there's going to be a twist, but you still don't work it out anyway. You know, Shutter Island's one of them. You know, you mentioned 2 of my favorite ones, 2 of my favorite thrillers. You know, well, I mentioned Shutter Island, and you mentioned Get Out. Another one by Jordan Peele. I think Jordan Peele's work has been brilliant with his Monkey Paw Production Studios. He made a film called Us after making Get Out, and that proper fed into me because Jordan Peele is a massive fan of the Twilight Zone, and I'm a sucker for Twilight Zone. I love it. I mean, the series that was out in the 60s, I'm still getting through it now. And Us is heavily inspired by an episode in the Twilight Zone. I think it was called Mirror Image, which was about doppelgangers, which is essentially what Us is about. Not spoiling anything there with that. It's probably on the front cover of the poster, that, you know, for it, and it'll be in the synopsis as well. Definitely, if you like Get Out, definitely worth a watch. It does delve into more of the horror side to it rather than the thriller side, because it doesn't. It's, if you're someone that likes to poke holes in things, that doesn't make sense. How would they get hold of that? How would they do this? You know, they live there, but would they have that? Like, you know, it's going to crumble to part if you do that. I'll first to hold my hand up, but if you shove that to the side and then just watch the story and how it's made and the concept of the story, It's really good, and you can see how he's inspired by Twilight Zone. And I lapped this up. I lapped it up.
You're making it sound a little bit like an Old Spice advert. You know, one of the new ones. It's like, I'm on a horse, I'm in a bathroom, I'm on a beach. It's like, if I like a film to be cohesive. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just be getting into a car, then start the engine. Oh, hey, up, we're in space now. What's going on?
It's not quite that extreme.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends what sort of you. Like I say, with us, if you watch us for the concept, you'll love it. But if you're watching it for the logistics of it, you might be like, well, this doesn't make sense. This ain't great. Everyone's different. Everyone gets different things from films. But yeah, us was one of them that resonated with me. It was one of those ones as well that like I was still thinking about it after the first time I saw it. I was still thinking about it like 3 days later. And then also as well, the more I watched it, the more it evolved again, because you watch it again under different eyes, and then you watch it again under different eyes, and it's kind of like different for like the first 3 times you see it. Like, granted, if I was to watch it again now, it wouldn't be much different from the last time I watched it. I'd just be milking it by that point. But it's definitely worth a watch, I think. And there's other things that Jordan Peele have done as well. He made a sequel to Candyman. Candyman was a very popular film back in the day. I think it was an 80s film, I want to say. Yeah. Staying on the topic with thrillers, though, because I've just been reminded of something. The main actor that was in Candyman, he's in another thriller series that I was a big fan of back in the day. Watching it now probably doesn't hold up so much. You know, I'm in my 30s. When I was in my early 20s, I had a different opinion on it. But Final Destination, you ever seen those films?
Yes, I used to enjoy a bit of Final Destination, to be honest.
There's a new one coming out. Out this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So I've recently gone through because I've got them all on DVD. Recently gone through the all 5 films and in preparation for it. And I mean, I enjoyed going through them again, but you just, with the older eyes, you see how formulaic it is, and it's just literally the same film over and over again. It's just that, where do the deaths come from? That's kind of what changes.
Yeah, but like you say, it's very formulaic though. You could. What would be interesting is if you watched it and you wrote down the timings of everything, and then see if there was any overlap. Like, okay, so this first 8 minutes were, intro, and then the first F happens here. Oh, bang, 9 minutes. Oh, would you believe it? Oh, yeah. But I enjoyed a bit of Final Destination, to be honest. This is like the other episodes where we were talking about TV shows, and you know what I mean? If we were to try and cover everything, it would, we'd be here all week. But I like where you've been so far. You've been talking about Jordan Peele. But as far as nailing down a genre, did we get a genre, a favourite genre?
I'm a sucker for a sci-fi. I like me sci-fi. Early Star Wars. I do like me Star Wars.
Really?
For me, it's just a classic. It's just an absolute classic. Also, another classic I will say as well, because I won't bore you too much with Star Wars. Everyone knows about it. This is another film that everyone knows about, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. Back to the Future. It's another sci-fi film that I lapped up. All 3 of them, people say, oh, the second one's crap. Second one's great. Just take it for what it is. Second one's great. Michael J. Fox playing Marty McFly. The actor, what was the actor called? The character's called Emmett Brown. I can't remember his name. Is it Christopher Lloyd? Chris Lloyd, I want to say. The chemistry, the acting chemistry between those two, brilliant. They work so well, and the age difference as well between them, it's crazy how well it works. But it was great. Have you got any experience watching Back to the Future? Any
Back to the Future. Again, it's one of them films that I've never seen. But then when I was flying to, I think I was going to Japan or America, one or the other, got time to kill. You know what I mean? And you get a list of movies up on screen, and it's like, hey, bloody hell, Back to the Future. I'll watch it. So I watched it, and it was good. I must say, I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like, some of it just so predictable. I'm sat there, and it's like, oh, that's his mum and his dad, and he's gonna, yeah, okay.
It's a family film though, innit, as well. It needs to be entertaining for the adults and easy for the children to follow as well, because not like it's easy for us to see what's coming, but for children, they aren't going to really predict what's coming. They're just going to be in the moment and watch it right now. But even when you can see what's going to happen, you can be like, that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, though, because you get invested in the character because the acting's so good, like from Michael J. Fox, I believe. And, so it depends how you go with it. If you don't get connected to the characters, you're going to like, oh, well, this is going to happen. You can be a cynical fucker. But then if you do get attached to the characters in the film, you're like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. But you've already subconsciously predicted what is going to happen. You just hope it doesn't happen to the character because you like him. So there's a bit of that as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like I said earlier with Tenet, there was a moment in Tenet where I was just like, bah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
I
know what
guess
you're
there's
talking about.
moments in films like Interstellar where it's like, bah. I think for me, I'm always trying to guess what's going to happen in the film, especially with a thriller. I'm always like, oh, it's going to be that person, or this is going to happen, or this is going to happen. Like a film that I really enjoyed for that was Donnie Darko. So I'm a really big fan of Donnie Darko because I think for me, the soundtrack's amazing. Like there's loads of great tunes in there. And I think it captures the time period very well. That like 80s sort of America sort of vibe. But I had no idea what was going to happen in that film until the very end. And it was one of those films, a little bit like Inception, where you're straight on Wikipedia afterwards. It's like, I need to know what the fuck has just happened here. Like, I need to know. Whereas with Back to the Future, you know what I mean? Like you say, it's family entertainment. It's got to please everyone on all levels. And yeah, if you're a little bit older, perhaps you are already thinking, oh, I bet this happens and I bet this happens. But as you say, kids, when we were kids, you're just watching it, aren't you? You enjoy the characters. You enjoy what's going on at the time.
I feel like there's like a time and a place for everything. And with Back to the Future, the time is you want to watch something that's a little bit mindless and you don't have to stress your brain too much. One thing I will add as well, that if you're someone that has watched a lot of thrillers and you love that hit of like, oh shit, didn't see that coming, what a twist, like he's been in front of me the whole time and I never saw it, and like, how could I have fallen for that, like, well done to them for doing it. When you're accustomed to that and then you start getting good at working out where those twists come in thrillers, it makes you better at working out the films that aren't trying to catch you out too hard. And then it kind of feels a little bit like, it doesn't stimulate you as much, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's maybe what happened to you. Maybe you've seen too many films where you've been surprised too many times where, as you put it, bleh, and like you're looking for that again and you're not getting it. It's like, oh, I can work out what this is going to, this ain't going to surprise me. I know what's going on. Like, and then even if it isn't quite what you thought, it's like, well, that's not that big of a surprise either. I mean, it's not a huge game changer in the story. So I think there's a little bit of that for you with your experience. Going back to what you were saying as well before about you with your film viewing, films isn't number one in your media consumption, is it? So I understand why you would grab it. If you're going to consume some media, you want it to be the best stuff. You don't want to waste your time doing it because you maybe not have as much patience for a lot of it as maybe me, who I've probably watched more films than you.
Yeah, you probably have. On 100%, most people on this planet have watched more films than me. But you were talking there about, that bah moment as it's almost becoming like wazza.
Yeah.
But
mind blown moment, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. That moment where it's like, wow. I think the best example of that for me was Saw, the Saw film. Like, I can still remember to this day the feeling of that guy getting up, and I was like, what the fuck have I just watched? Are you being fucking serious? Are you mad? I'm getting angry now thinking about it. Like, honestly, I was like, shit the bed. It was that good.
I love the theme tune to Saw as well. Like, Saw is another great example of a thriller, like, because it's all grounded. There's no like supernatural entities. There's no magic in it or anything like that. That's Saw is another great example of that. I love the overarching music for Saw as well. It starts so soon as well, leading up to the twist. And it's like the da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. And like it you don't even realize it coming, and then when the twist hits, that music is hitting so hard. But as a viewer, because you're so in tuned into what you're seeing, you don't even really feel it like coming, or you don't even. It's just complementing how you're feeling as well. So yeah, you picked a really good example there, because I kind of forgot about Saw. I'm thinking of like classic thrillers and like staple thrillers. You picked a really good example of one there, and I hope you haven't spoiled it for anybody. Be saying that, but at the same time,
not seen Saw,
how old is that film now?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you deserve to be spoiled if you haven't seen it by now.
There's got to, like I say, there's got to be a cut-off point. You know what I mean?
True.
It's not Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, is it? You know what I mean? People were driving the cars off motorways and that because people were putting signs on motorway bridges saying Dumbledore dies. People didn't want to see it. I mean, aren't people lovely to each other?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that honestly, that was incredible. One of them, another one of them where I didn't really need to Wikipedia that one. That one was just like, fuck, that has just blown my mind. Like you want to stand up and clap. It's almost like when you've been on a rough flight and pilot gets it down. It's like, well played, director. You had me there. That were absolutely class. But then again, I've watched some of the other future saws and I just weren't that engaged.
Formulaic. It's formulaic, isn't it? So
I think that happens a lot. I think it happens in music though as well.
Same problem with Final Destination. How like you watch the first one, but then the second one maybe not as good.
So it's like music. When an artist, up until the point that their first album's released, they've been writing that material all of their life, and then the minute that they get signed and album 1 comes out, someone's like, "Boom, we need album 2. When do you need it?" 6 months. What? Spent 21, 25, 30 years on this. And now I've got 6 months. What on earth? And I think sometimes that happens with movies as well. So, a director's first film, they've spent their whole life working towards that moment. And then all of a sudden, what? You need another? You're joking. So, some of the same tricks probably do come out there. I've enjoyed this episode, to be honest, because films for me is just something that I don't really feel I know much about. Have you got a favourite film?
I don't have a favourite film, no. It's hard because you can be in different moods for different genres at different times of the day, even different times of the year. So it just depends on how you are at the time. It is hard to say favourites because there's so many genres and there's just so many peak films for yourself within those genres as well. And sometimes it's like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, I guess so. No, I think it's a bit of a safe answer, isn't it, to want to pick a favourite film?
It is a fence-sitting answer, but it is my answer, to be honest. It is how I feel about it.
Do you have any favourite actors?
Struggling to think of some right now, actually.
Michael J. Fox, you were
I guess I could say some of the ones that I've mentioned already. Yeah, Michael J. Fox.
Mark Hamill, if you like a bit of the
Mark
old...
Hamill, yeah, that's a good one. So it's just hard to think, innit? I tell you what though, he's not one of my favourite actors, but he's definitely an actor that's gone higher in my expectations. That's Jason Statham. He was such a memeable actor at some point, but then he was in a film called The Beekeeper, and I was it's just another one of those Jason Statham action films, whatever. He were really good in that film, really good, and I haven't seen another film by him since then, but I've heard someone else say that he is on a roll now. So,
okay.
I've just thought of another actor as well, by the way.
Oh, go on.
Again, he's another memeable actor, but he had such a good run at the time. Nicolas Cage.
Cage.
Con Air, The Rock, Gone in 60 Seconds, Face Off, all great films, and Nicolas Cage nailed it. Granted, he's had a few questionable performances, very, very memeable actor, but I do like him for what it's worth. Keanu Reeves, yeah. I tell you what, it's a good job you didn't ask me about actors on Quick Burn Carbs, isn't it?
Bloody hell, can you imagine? Bloody hell, I'd have lost none. What about director? I know you sort of mentioned Jordan Peele earlier, but do you have any particular director that you like?
Yeah, Jordan Peele, as I mentioned before. I've mentioned him before as well, Tarantino. I like his work. Spielberg's done some great stuff. Great action films, great entertainment films. I think he did Raiders of the Lost Ark as well, didn't he? That's another George Lucas franchise. Not tied to Star Wars, but it's this similar sort of direction. Yeah, there's a few I can name at the top of my head.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to probably head for the final break. We've got heavy into some films there. We've had a look at genres, we've had a look at films, we've looked at actors, we've looked at directors, and some nuances in between. So I am going to throw a quick burn carbs at you because I'm like that. And what I want you to tell me about this time is the cinema.
The cinema, right. The whole cinema experience. Basically, the whole point of it is to watch a film and be immersed into it with the surround sounds, the big screen, and it's the experience of you're with strangers, but you're sharing that experience with everyone else. You can be shocked at the same thing, you can laugh at the same thing, all while eating
One.
really nice popcorn.
Boom. Really nice popcorn. No, that was really good. And that's lovely because we are going to look at everything cinema after the break. This is the Salad and Carbs podcast. We will see you after this break. Welcome back to the Salad and Carbs podcast, the only place where you can get 2 of your 5 a day. Before the break, we were talking about all Carbs' favourites. So we were looking at his favourite genre, and we were talking about sci-fi films, and then we were looking at some of the films that he likes, certain actors, directors. At first, he didn't really know any actors, and then, like buses, they all came at once. It was unbelievable. It weren't even a Sunday service. They were all at it. So yeah, we finally managed to eke some actors out of Carbs there, which was incredible. And then we had a quick burn Carbs, and we set him the task of tell us everything you know about the cinema. And he did a pretty good job, to be honest. I can tell this is a subject that you're passionate about, films and cinema. I feel like, remember when you did them swimming tests at school and you had to like do swimming in your pajamas? That's what I felt like all episode. Like I've got my PJs on and I'm swimming. Never mind PJs, I've got a fucking fleece on. But I'm managing, I'm treading water, but I've got Michael Phelps here winning fucking 8 gold medals. It's incredible. So we're going to talk about the cinema. I'm going to hand over to Carbs.
Yeah. I just want to firstly say that I appreciate you going over the subject matter of films to begin with, because you just said, like, you're swimming with pajamas on. I feel like if we do eventually go and talk about music, it would be it'd be swapping round.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. But
it would be a reversal.
I owe you that then. I owe you that. So, for future, you've gone through the ringer for me, I owe you one. So,
okay.
Anyway, speaking of films, do you have favourite cinema venue, or maybe a selection of favourite cinema venues?
Well, it's a good question. It is, because there are a couple that stand out. I do enjoy an IMAX. And I mean, sometimes it's probably like an emotional thing as well. So, like, obviously, I have a bit of an attachment to the Odeon of the IMAX at Trafford Centre, because I actually went there with my partner and we watched The Boy and the Heron, which was the most recent Ghibli movie. Actually won an Oscar. Or a Golden Globe. An Oscar, I think. It was really good, honestly. I'd never watched a Ghibli movie before I met her. And now I've watched quite a few, because a lot of them are on Netflix. But it was incredible. I loved it. And obviously we watched it in Japanese, with English subs, because for me, I'd rather listen to it in Japanese than have English voice actors. I'm the same with anything in Japanese. Just give me some subtitles and I'll be fine. But another couple of cinemas, one is in Leeds. It's called the Hyde Park Picture House, and it's actually one of the oldest cinemas in the UK. Like one of the surviving ones, like really, really old school. With like the gas lanterns on the wall. Oh yeah, like
nice.
Curtains come across at half time in the film, just like being at the theatre. Really, really old school. And I went there probably when I was about 20 odd. That was epic. I believe they've refurbished it recently. They got like some funding or some grant, and it's been refurbished because obviously it was getting into a bit of disrepair. I think it's been open since like the 1930s or the 1930s, I guess. Very, very, very nice. If you've never been, go and watch a film at Hyde Park Picture House. The film I actually went to watch was the film called The Artist. Now, if anyone can remember The Artist, that was the black and white movie where there was no sound. And it came out in like 2010, 2011, something like that. And it was actually a silent movie. And obviously it was all the rage because Nolan had done it for such a long time. Now, I think it was a little bit Schindler's List, like I think there's a red coat in Schindler's List, isn't there? It was a little bit Schindler's List because there is sound at one particular point, which obviously grabs all of your attention because you've just been watching stuff. Anyway, yeah, that was an experience. And then the last place on my list will be Everyman. So if you've not been to an Everyman cinema, go and check it out. Honestly, what a place! Just the future of cinema. So you go to whichever Everyman you go into. I mean, the local one for me is in a place called Clitheroe, And what you do, you go, there's a bar, and then there's a thing called Spielberger Cafe or a Spielberger restaurant. And basically you can get pizza, you can get burgers, you can get chips, some proper zhuzhed up food. And what they do is they take your order and then you go and sit down. But you don't have seats in this Everyman. It's a sofa. So you sit on a sofa. So the theatre's quite small. Well, I mean, it is in Clitheroe because I guess it's a smallish venue, but I've never been to one in a city. But basically, you sit on a sofa. You've got this like wooden armrest. You've got loads of leg room. And then just before the movie starts, they start bringing in people's food. So you sit there and eat your meal while you're watching the movie. Honestly, it is the future. I've been there a few times, so that for me is probably my favourite place to go to the cinema at the moment.
Yeah, I've heard about this Everyman's before, and I've never been myself, but I've heard there's one in Didsbury. I could be wrong.
It wouldn't surprise me. No, it wouldn't surprise me.
I feel like there's one that way in Greater Manchester. Maybe Didsbury, I feel like is popping to me, but it's definitely something I wanted to try. It's definitely, I kind of always forget about it because, I mean, you don't know what you're missing, do you? But I've heard about it, and it's definitely up my street, definitely. Like, even if just to go once, it's pretty good. That Leeds place, Jesus, that sounds great. That's like the Kenilworth Road of the cinema world, isn't it?
The Kenilworth Road. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, yeah. If not just for you, but for listeners as well, if you've never been, go and check it out. Honestly, it's like a museum. It's like a look back in time. To how things were, and it's a fully functioning cinema. It still works exactly like it did. But yeah, that was such an experience. I'd love to go again.
Yeah, it's like a heritage site, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it probably is like a listed building or something like that. I haven't done the research. Bloody hell, Salad being lazy, but all from memory. This, but yeah, it was a fantastic venue.
Yeah, and so when was the last time you went to the cinemas? Like, what did you see? What venue was it?
The last time I went to the cinema was probably about a month ago. I think me and my partner took my mum out because we'd been to Everyman a couple of times, and we thought it was such a cool experience that we thought, for her birthday, last time we took her to Peter Kay, how do you top that? You don't really. But we thought we'd take her to Everyman. So we did. And she loved it. And we went to watch Mickey 17. Is he called Edward Pattinson? Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, yeah.
Oh,
Twilight
dreadful
guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Twilight guy, Cedric Diggory out of Harry Potter. That's where he first turned up. But do you know what? It was great. I thought it was really good. The reason why I sort of gravitated towards it was because the director is the South Korean director who directed the film Parasite, which was the first Asian film to win an Oscar. And I think he won Best Director for that film, maybe. But that film was brilliant. It was that good I went out and bought it on DVD. 14 quid there were at Woolworths that doesn't even exist anymore, buying the DVD. But yeah, he directed this, and I guess this was like maybe his first foray, correct me if I'm wrong, but into like using Western actors, moving across from South Korea and having a go in that like sort of Hollywood setting. It was really good. It was the right amount of like sci-fi, the right amount of comedy, and the right amount of philosophy. There were some moments where you sat there thinking, humanity at times, what is it up to? And it were a bit of beard scratcher. But I think it was well executed. All those parts blended well together. And obviously, the addition of the food and the venue, and yeah, it was just really, really nice.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Like, what sort of food do you tend to eat when you go to the cinemas? Like, what's your do you like to make a full experience out of it? I mean, I'm not talking about Everyman specifically. You can mention that if you like, but like, compare like your visit with your refreshments for like a View, for example, as compared to when you go to Everyman.
See, for me, at another cinema, it's going to sound proper snobbish, right? But once you've been to Everyman, why the fuck am I going to bother with an hot dog and a fucking great big glass of Coke? You know what I mean? Like, man can eat that anywhere. I mean, I guess man can eat burger and fries anywhere. Like, if I was in the cinema, I guess it depends. Sometimes, like, if we go to another cinema, it might be go for food and then go to the cinema. So I ain't then going to go and fill up on £10 popcorn, because I think sometimes the prices upset me, especially for things like an hot dog or nachos, and back to that cooking thing. I know how much all this costs to put together, and to be fair, I've got that freedom of doing it myself. Whereas at Everyman, yeah, the food can be pricey, but they're not. I don't think they're that shy. So if it was at Everyman, I might get. They do like sharing things, so you get 3 for whatever, 3 for 20 quid, 3 for 15. I can't remember. You might get some pieces of halloumi, you might get some tempura prawns, you might get some hummus and bread, might get a burger each, might get some chips, and then they do these sundaes, and they are the creme de la creme. So you get 3 scoops, pick a sauce, pick some toppings. Oh my god, they come in a Kilner jar with a spoon. Oh, they're brilliant. But yeah, if I was at the regular cinema, sorry, view,
peasant cinemas.
Sorry, audience. I might consider a box of popcorn. I might consider an hot dog. I might consider nachos, an £80 bag of minstrels. You know what I mean? Depends what mood I'm in. But I find that when you get the big drink at cinema, I'm forever going for a piss. You know what I mean? Man gets to a certain age and seal's broken. I've not even had any alcohol. And last thing I want to be doing is popping out for a wee when big things are happening in movie. So that's where I'm at for food.
Yeah, I find as well that when you've had a lot to drink, and then there's going to be like a post-credit cutscene, you want to stay to the end. Like, oh, that is it's the worst decision ever. It's like, shall I stay in this post-credit cutscene? But I could lose my seal here, and it's just all around uncomfortable. And then like also as well, you're like, yeah, I mean, if I do stay and then I'm bursting and that, it could just be a complete pointless cutscene that I'm waiting for as well. So, yeah, have you experienced that yourself?
I don't think I've ever sat there bursting. And thing is, right, if you go at end at film, usually everyone else is leaving, so you're waiting forever to have a piss. So I think I would be tactical, and like there's been times where I've just had to go. You know what I mean? Nature's calling. So it's got to be done. I think it's worse when you go to football and you have a wee at football and someone scores. That is the worst.
It nearly happened to me at Luton. So we were 1-0 up in the second half, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to go to the toilet. Like there was like 15 minutes left or so, and then went to the toilet, and then all of a sudden I just heard and I was like, God, that didn't sound like a goal, but for a split second it sounded like a goal. It's like, and it turns out it was a long range shot from a Luton player, finger-tipped save onto the bar by the goalkeeper, and the ball barely changed its trajectory, but it probably kept it out because it hit the underside of the bar and then and stayed out. Yeah, but I know exactly what you're saying. That nearly happened to me. It just been typical for like a goal to have happened when you're there, and it's like, oh, who scored it, and then being disappointed if it was Luton that scored it. So
I've been there, done that. I've been outside the ground and goals have gone in. So I'm going to ask you now: do you have a favourite cinema?
So I feel like I'm more of a film watcher, but I'm not as well travelled as you with film venues. I'm fine just going to the Printworks View, or even closer to home. Get yourself to Aki Cinema. Keep it going. It's a bit of a shithole, but it's our shithole. I'd rather have a shithole cinema than no cinema. It's one of them. I like going to the Blackburn one. Speaking of the Blackburn cinemas, though, my first cinema I ever went to was the Apollo, and I don't know if you've been to that one before, but you walked in, marble floor, and it was in the town centre, and it was like
the old cinema in Blackburn.
Yeah, it looked like it used to be a church or something, like it used to be a cathedral. Yeah, really old style building. You went in there, and then like it was just, that was an experience in itself, when it, like, with the style of cinema, like you don't really see those anymore. That was my first experience of a cinema. The first film I went to see in the cinema as well, Jurassic Park.
Really?
So, yeah, it was a good first one. It was a good first. I feel like the Flintstones or Casper or something like that might have been my second. But
mine was Aladdin. I went to watch Aladdin. That was the first film I saw at the pictures. Yeah. That picture's in Blackburn as well.
Yeah, and like I remember as a kid, like you don't get as much of a grasp or concept of time, and like you've been sat in a dark room for like the best part of 2 hours, and then like I remember as a kid just presuming it was going to be nighttime by by the time we left, because there's no windows, and it feels like you've been in there for ages. You think, oh yeah, it's going to be nighttime by the time we come out there, and you walk out and it's bright as hell. You're like, oh, what? Didn't expect this. But yeah, that's something I remember thinking as a kid, like the first time I went. I went to watch the Star Wars Phantom Menace as well in that cinemas, that Apollo.
Really?
So I've got a lot of good memories of that cinemas. It's a shame it's not going anymore. But I've been told there's another cinemas open up in Blackburn now as well, but it's near the college. I've never been, but I've been told it's a good one. I won't mind giving that one a go. But whenever I think of going to cinemas, I just get the Views Cinema app out, and just because Views just everywhere around here. But I probably need to be more open-minded with that. Yeah, but the Apollo definitely holds a place in my heart.
Okay.
In terms of like now, let's just View really.
Yeah, okay. No, you should. I mean, you should branch out. I mean, if you're a bit of a film lover, you definitely need to make the pilgrimage to Leeds and do a bit of the Hyde Park Picture House. And I'd recommend Everyman as well. If you get the chance, like just go. Treat yourself. Go and watch a movie. It'll change your life.
Do a review of it on here.
Yeah, oh bloody hell, add it to the list. View will never be the same again. Which leads me on to asking you about, when was the last time you went to the cinema? Now, I asked this with a purpose, I'm not going to lie, because I already know this, but this is what great podcast writing is all about. I already know, but I want you to tell me anyway. So when was the last time you went to the cinema? And what did you watch?
You're giving the listeners a right look under the curtain there, aren't you? You keep
breaking the fourth wall, you know what I mean?
Yeah, being transparent, breaking the fourth speaker, Yeah, okay, so it was in Accrington. It was the Minecraft movie. One thing I will say as well, like I've left it in my notes here, we didn't cover it, but I'll go back to it. There's a lot of gaming films that are coming out these days, and me being a gamer, I'm all for it. Combining movies and games together, I love it. You got your Mario, your Sonic. There was TV series, you got like your Last of Us as well, so that it's coming to TV as well. But the Minecraft movie itself, it was okay, mindless entertainment. If you're a fan of Jack Black, you're going to love it. If you're not, you're going to hate it, because it is Jack Black just being Jack Black. He's not really acting, he's just being Jack Black, which is fair enough. That's what they wanted, that's why they hired him. The problem you've got with making a Minecraft film is there's no real, I mean, I'm talking about the initial Minecraft when it first came out. It's a bit different now. Like there's more, they've built on it a little bit. But like the initial Minecraft when it came out, there was no story behind it. It's like you make your own story. These are the props. You make your own story. Like it's your game. It's a sandbox. You do what you want. So there was no character to Steve, the guy that you start with. Like Steve is just the guy that the default skin you get in the game. That's who Jack Black was playing. It's probably like the only consistent thing that everyone has played as Steve. But then once you change your skin to something else, not many people have played as the same thing. So that's the idea. That's why they went with Steve as the main character, I feel. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of Minecraft, like hardcore Minecraft fans might have been disappointed with it, especially if they don't like Jack Black. But I mean, if you're interested in it and you feel like you might be disappointed with it, given what I've said, it's worth a watch. Maybe not in the cinemas. Maybe try and like wait till it comes on like a streaming platform, or or any other method you want to watch it. If you want to be Captain Jack Sparrow, then fair enough. It's up to you. But yeah, that's the last time I went, and yeah, it was. I always enjoy a good view. I always enjoy a good trip to the cinema, even if the film isn't great. I like the whole cinema experience. It's immersive, and yeah.
Bit of Pearl and Dean, bit of Dolby Surround.
I love that.
Yeah. That's when you know it's happening, innit? Phone, go on silent. Come on, shut up now. What you on about eating your nachos and every month? Film's coming on, bloody hell. Then viewing card comes up with certificate. Signature. Boom. That's when you know it's happening. Okay, a bit of Minecraft, yeah, gaming stuff coming out. I mean, that's the nature of the world now, isn't it? You know what I mean? Games consoles they've been around for years. If you're going back to like the Atari and real Commodore, I don't even want to start saying these names in case I get them wrong. But I know the Atari was a Commodore 64,
Commodore and the Amiga. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm getting these wrong. It's really bad. But I am a PlayStation, Sega, Nintendo, Dreamcast, Xbox, PS5, Switch, Nintendo.
End of the day, it's not your generation, is it?
No, not really. A bit before my time. But those things are now embedded within culture and society. So it doesn't surprise me that those things are making it into the movies, into TV, because they're going to sell. Because it's clear that there's an audience for these things. So let's start making films. Let's start making TV, because we want a slice of that revenue as well. Very, very interesting that you were talking about the film. We follow Steve. I didn't even know the person in Minecraft was called Steve. I have played Minecraft, but I was always a creative. I was never a survival player. I only ever played creative because I didn't really understand the game, and I didn't, I wasn't brave enough to venture into the world and collect my own wood. Whereas, interestingly enough, Lego and Fortnite teamed up, and they've just ripped off Minecraft. But that is something I'm not going to delve into in too much detail, because you've sort of led us nicely down a path to talk about games. And I think in the next episode, let's explore games a little bit more. And, we can talk about your favourite games, my favourite games, the stuff we've played growing up. And I think that's a great place to wrap up this episode. Do you have anything to add in regards to films, cinema, anything else, any pressing matters before we wrap this episode up?
I'm quite happy. I think we've discussed quite a lot. I mean, I've got some. If I wanted to flick through back from my notes and find something, I could do. But I'm happy with what we spoke about. I think we've covered quite a lot. Delved into what we like, what we don't like.
Okay. If you're happy, I'm happy. Audience, tell us what your favourite films are. Tell us who your favourite directors are, actors, films. Did we get anything wrong? Did we make any mistakes? Did we have any shocking, controversial takes? We need to know, and we would love it if you let us know in the YouTube comments, on Spotify. Make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you give us a rating if possible. That'd be fantastic as well. This has been the Salad and Carbs podcast. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you in the next episode. Sayonara.
Au revoir.